Everyone, back to you into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, I did a video yesterday saying that I thought we're probably going to get some warmer weather coming up at the end of the week, into the weekend, on into the start of next week. I think that's still on course, but it's not necessarily going to be settled. I think we'll have some showers or some longer spells of rain coming through that. Maybe some thunderstorms as well, because yeah, it's going to be quite warm and humid. We'll have a look at all the detail in a moment. Just want to mention advertising. There's a video ad to my page here, ZachGazWeathers.com. If you could hit play on the video ad, you'll be helping to support GazWeathers.com. Thanks very much for doing that. So here's the current radar picture from the weatheroutlook.com, and we've actually got some persistent rain up to the northeast across the eastern part of Scotland, coming down into northeastern England, so that's quite heavy. Also got showers breaking out across northern England, down in towards Wales, in towards West Midlands, and through some southern parts of England as well. It's quite wet through the Irish Sea. Also going to be a lively old afternoon, I think. Some big showers building up across many parts of the country. This is the high resolution precipitation forecast from the Euro 4 model from the website Weather Online. You can find a link to Weather Online on the links page. This is the forecast for midday, and there's that more persistent area of rain across the east of Scotland and into northeast parts of England. These are the heavy showers breaking out to the west. So as you go through the afternoon, they're going to shift eastwards, so by the time you get through 6 o'clock in the evening, the suggestion really is that the downpours are through eastern and central and southeast and southern parts of the country too. Particularly focused perhaps around northeastern England, coming down in towards the Midlands through Lincolnshire, parts of East Anglia, southeastern England as well, and then down through the south. Could be some very torrential downpours with those showers this afternoon. Flash flooding certainly possible, lightning, thunder and hail could be thrown in with those downpours. But of course not everywhere will get them. You can see from this chart that many places are staying dry, so there'll be sort of scattered downpours. You're by no means guaranteed to get one, but if you do get one, you know about it. Winds are light, so it'll be quite prolonged and slow moving. Now, to go through to this evening, all the showers are going to die out as we lose heat. Heat radiates away from the atmosphere, and the showers very quickly ease down through into the evening. By midnight, the forecast is that many places are going to be dry. Going through to 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, it's main dry game. That's perhaps 1 or 2 showers on the east coast. And then really all eyes are to the east as rain begins to develop in the North Sea. But most places are actually having a dry day. I think tomorrow could well be the driest day of the week, to be honest. As we go through to the end of Wednesday, the rain is beginning to gather in the North Sea, pushing on towards the east coast, threatening the east coast. And that'll be pushing east to west across many parts of the country through the course of Thursday. Some of that could be quite heavy. Have a look at the GFS temperature and precipitation ensemble for the next couple of weeks. Remember, the red line is the 30-year average, so when you get all the 30 years together and sort of group the temperature where it should be at this time of the year, in terms of those averages, that's where it comes out. Now, we're a little bit below average at the moment, actually quite substantially below average. That's what happens. That's chilly nights. It's not particularly notable by day, unless you're under the heavy showers, of course. I mean, it's cooler, but in the sunshine, it's not particularly notable by day because the heat of the sun is so strong at this time of the year that you can offset that below average temperature by some degree. But at night, it is more notable. We have been having some really quite chilly nights, particularly out in the countryside. As we go through towards the end of the week, though, we're going to find the temperatures lifting up, so we go a little bit above average. And then really we stay above average or around the average, a little bit above for a few days going into the weekend. Bit of a dip going on early next week, and then another push of warmer weather for perhaps through the middle of next week. But nothing there to suggest we're in for a particularly hot spell. No sign of a real heat wave coming through with temperatures into the upper 80s, 90 Fahrenheit mark, anything like that. But certainly going to be generally quite a warmish, I think, middle phase of July. You notice from the precipitation spots, it's never truly settling down. It's not necessarily going to be a washout, but we keep these precipitation spots going really throughout the ensemble. Actually, we get towards the end of the ensemble into the second half of July. If anything, the precipitation spikes are probably getting more numerous and frequent there, so it may be turning more unsettled after the middle of the month. I'm not sure about that, but there's no suggestion of a prolonged sort of very settled, very warm, summery spell of weather, so we're probably going to keep the weather that we've had through most of this summer, which is sort of, so far, been a very tricky summer to forecast, because it's sort of neither one thing nor another. It's not a desperately poor summer, it's not a wonderfully good summer either. It's sort of this in between type pattern where it's dry maybe for a day or two and quite warm, then turn more unsettled for a few days, then dryish again for a day or two, and so on as we've been going through the summer. Quite a strange summer this is turning into, I have to say. Now, the temperature anomaly for the next week, taking us from the 8th of July to the 16th of July, shows that we're actually going to be a little bit below average for the week as a whole, but I think that is being skewered by the weather at the moment and the coolish nights that we get. And I think once we get past the next day or two, get to around Thursday, we will find these temperature anomalies shifting more towards the red colours, going a little bit above the average. Notice how cool it is across much of France. Very cool spell going on there. The precipitation anomaly for the next week, taking us from the 8th to the 16th of July, shows that if anything, we're going to be a little bit on the wetter side of the average. It's near normally in the west in the white colours, but in the east, certainly, with blue colours, we are seeing a little bit above average in terms of the precipitation. That is mainly through the form of heavy showers and thunderstorms, and there are going to be some big downpours around over the coming week. I think having a look at the generic charts is the GFS for Saturday. High pressure up over Scandinavia is helping to introduce a warmer flow from the east, but it's all very slack, and there are going to be heavy showers and thunderstorms, I think, breaking out within that warmer flow. As we go through to Sunday, the idea is that low pressure is actually sort of developing over the country. That's within the warm and the humid air, so there could be some really big storms around over the weekend. I'm going to be away over the weekend, so I won't be able to update about this, but it's going to be worth keeping an eye on the weather websites, I think, over the weekend, because you have some really interesting conditions around. Of course, not everywhere will catch those storms, but if you do, I think there could be some really big and maybe violent thunderstorms over the weekend. As going to the start of next week, we're still in sort of low pressure conditions, although it's all very shallow. Going through to Tuesday, the 15th, we actually build a little bit of a ridge up to the south. The Azores Highs trying to nose in, as it has been doing throughout this summer so far, but never really achieving it with any conviction. Still sort of got low pressure up to the north of the country, and as we go beyond that in towards the middle and latter stages of next week, well, it's all very slack, and I think there's further showers within the flow. It's going to be warm. I think we'll have warm next week through the middle part of July, but I think we'll always be plagued with the risk of heavy showers on a number of days. That's certainly the case with the GFS. Let's have a look at the ECMWF, and here we are for Saturday. Again, we're in a very warm sort of easterly flow, so it can be quite humid. There'll be showers breaking out, maybe some thunderstorms Friday into Saturday. We keep going into Sunday. The start of next week begins to see high pressure trying to nose up from the southwest, although there's a bit of a trough there across the northern parts of the country. Could be produced some quite heavy rain, maybe thunderstorms. Going through to Tuesday, there's that little ridge trying to develop across the south from the Azores High, but really it's this area of low pressure out to the northwest of Scotland that is sort of in control of this. So as we go through to the middle of next week, it will be warm. I think temperatures are going to be into the low to mid 20s quite widely, so into the upper 70s Fahrenheit. But it's not going to be particularly settled, although there, as we get through to Thursday the 17th, we aren't all that far away from quite a hot plume beginning to come up from the south. A way of being is sort of orientating its way around this ridge here over central parts of Europe, trough in the Atlantic. It's sort of very close to tapping in to a bit of a plume, and as you go through towards Friday, actually probably bringing some sort of thundery low up from the south with the main low pressure out to the west. We could get a bit of a plume later next week, maybe seeing temperatures getting up towards the 80 Fahrenheit mark, but I don't think it'll take long before thunderstorms follow. And generally the idea, I think, for the middle of July is that we're looking at a warm period for the month generally. But I think we're also going to be looking at showers, thunderstorms. If we do get back to plume towards the end of next week, I don't think it'll take long to break down into thunderstorms. So it's really just a continuation of what we've had so far this summer. No sign of a prolonged spell of settled hot weather, no sign of anything desperately awful either. Certainly nothing like a couple of years ago where the whole summer was completely washed out and the temperatures were way below where they should be day after day. It's nothing like that. It's just generally sort of in between summer, where it's okay for a few days, it's been unsettled for a few days, and that's how we're going on this summer, it seems. Quite an unusual one. That's it for now. Hope you found the video interesting. We'll be looking at the 5-day forecast tomorrow, putting some detail on the weather for the next 5 days. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.